Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a tournament that is coming up kinda review. I've been liking doing these to let you all know what tournaments are happening and where to go watch them. I thank you new players that have somehow found me and not the bigger channels first. And if you still just, aren't completely aware of everything on the radar, I hope this helps too. Disclaimer, I don't know any other people that I will be giving a shout out to personally, so that's my disclaimer, and I'm sorry if anybody in here wants me to like never mention them again. Just go ahead and send me an email. It's in my bio. But all of that aside, the battle to end Alzheimer's is coming up this weekend, and I gotta admit, I like that an event like this is happening as somebody who has a family member that lives close, and uh, they no longer remember who I am. So, things like this, I hope eventually we can make real differences about situations like Alzheimer's and whatnot. So, yeah. Uh, that aside, there's a lot of interesting things here because Mordaka is still in play from what I can understand. And I gotta admit, I completely misremembered what all the Battle to End Alzheimer's was. I confused it with like another charity one, with a focus, I should say. This is a Nova Orange ticket event and a GW Golden ticket event. So, players have a chance to win a ticket to the Warhammer 40K Nova Open 2025 event and the World Championships of Warhammer. Now, the rules cutoff was April 7th. The nerf to Mordaka came on the 9th, and the list submissions were due on the 9th. Now, there are some tabs, and we'll get to those that you'll be like, no, is that what you're saying is going to win? I would say it's interesting. But going back here for a second, if you're wondering where to watch this, Wargames Live and Tactical Tortoise will be streaming this from all the things I can see on their channels. So go ahead, go look at that. Go look at some game coverage. This seems to be, or this is shaping up to be a decent event. I looked at the roster, and uh, so here's the part where I have to apologize. I'm not sure what everybody's bringing. Nobody's checked in yet, but I did see on the roster some pretty interesting names. I don't want to list off those names, add additional pressure in the off chance they see my video. And it's just like, yeah, this person thinks that I'm going to win it, so now I have to, right? Um, that you don't need that pressure from me at all. If that's pressure in any way, I'm nobody. But going to that point, there's some interesting names here. I wonder what they're all playing, and I think it should be a good event. There are 167, yeah, 167 players registered to attend. Looks like it should be pretty darn nice. 3 hour rounds, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 3 hour rounds, and everybody's going to do the do. So let's talk about what that do might do. Going over here, like I said, more DACA got nerfed on the 9th. I am currently recording this, full transparency on the 11th. Okay. Uh, it's probably will be there. Will it win? I actually wouldn't be surprised because here's the funny thing that happens a couple of times. People completely forget how to play against something that was kind of strong. And if there was a thing that happens, like, yeah, it's going to come out of the game, people are going to nerf it, this is the last one, people completely forget to practice versus or what the things that work because they know, oh, it's not going to be a problem next week. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Hooray, we did it. And when it comes across them on the table, they completely forget why it was getting nerfed or anything like that, or why it was getting taken out of the game. So with Death Watch, that was funny. Um, and there was one other that I was thinking of. I should have written it down, but I blanked right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Moridaka does a funny haha first, second, third, fourth, eighth, ninth, 12th, top 32 situation on this last go round. But at the same time, I wonder how many people still were bringing more DACA. I think everybody expected it to get nerfed, and GW kind of set a pace for now emergency fixes with how they did Star Shatter. So I think a lot of people might have already been like, yeah, I'm not bringing more DACA. It's going to get emergency fixed by the time the Battle and Alzheimer's rolls around. So, you know, it could go one of two ways. I mean, I guess that's everything, right? But that'll be pretty interesting to see how this goes. But why do I still have this page open and the next? So, one thing that should, if I'm, right in this, should be allowed are the kill team units because they came out on the second, and the rules cut off like we said was the ninth, right? Sorry, the seventh. Yeah, after the seventh. Okay, da 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 da. So I think if goremongers are able to be in this event, there's a good talking point to be had about world heaters. Why is that? Do I think goremongers are insane? Not at all. But I think when you are used to going, oh, it's world eaters. I'll just put my infiltrator here or my scouts here. Well, mainly your infiltrators because they have scouts. Um, I'll put my infiltrators here. That way I have a little bit of a buffer because they don't have a lot of fly. So they have to come get me first. And, that'll be my game plan. Now that they have infiltrators, 8 models worth of infiltrators, I think I saw on something that they were 32 millimeter bases. I should pull that up right now. I'm not going to. I'm sorry. um, but they're decent base size. So now that the World Eaters have an early screen to make sure that they have a place to go to start, I think some people are going to be in trouble if any of the World Eaters players, if there are any World Eaters players, and if they already have Goremongers painted up and ready for the situation. I don't imagine a lot of them do. But it's 167 people. I also don't think it would be absurd to think maybe one or two do. And on to that point, I wasn't going to actually before I get to that. Well, they're both in the same one, so yeah, we'll do this first. The other one is that Sanctifiers. I made a video both on Sanctifiers and the Goremongers, and I think the Imperial Agent Sanctifiers are decent enough. I think that there is a funny haha chance that they get included in something again if somebody's bought them and they are allowed at this event. If they are a funny haha that you include those into Imperial Knights or a list of Custodes already has the Sisters of Silence to do that. Astra Militarum already has things. I don't know, but something like I'm mainly in my head it's Imperial Knights, but that might be just my brain fog, brain block. On maybe we do the funny haha where once again over here in the US we have Imperial Knights do something that nobody was expecting Imperial Knights to really do. So I wouldn't be surprised if the new kill team actually makes a difference. And I guess onto that point, do I think that the other ones that aren't Mordaka, i.e. Lions of the Emperor, Experimental Prototype Cadre, and Shadow Legion, can have a chance to do it? I think they have a chance. I am really high on Shadow Legion. But hey, maybe that's just that. I don't know how I feel about Experimental Prototype Cadre. I saw a pretty good Tau player with it, and I didn't. I think I need to hear more about what they thought about it before I draw any more conclusions on that one. Alliance of the Emperor. I don't know, but funny enough, I've been taking some of the Custodes ideology. If I have a sub, or I have a viewer, I don't know if you're sub, but if you are here, Monstrosity, um, that talked about going from Tyrannage to Custodes. Funny enough, I've been thinking about writing more Custody like Tyrannid list, i.e., high investment blobs. And so far, it looks okay. It looks okay. So to that point, if somebody Now, no, before we go on to actual things that might really happen, but if somebody is taking some like high investment bricks, like I think we can say that things are looking elite right now. If somebody's taking high investment bricks compared to the lot of bodies that we had going on, that might be the way to go. So maybe I'm doubling down on World Eaters. Maybe if we see a lot of Exalted 8 bound with some goremongers, hell, maybe even some not the blood crushers, the shits. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's World Eaters. Sorry, they're all blood skull or something. Um, but if we see some more pressure on that and those type of lists, maybe I am high up on World Eaters. Custodies, maybe two. I think Custodies don't look too bad. But why do I have a Google result pull it up? Because this is fucking stupid, and I just want to call out GW for a brief second. Okay, I was like, yeah, it's called Blood, Kill Team Blood and Zeal, because it's pulling back the curtain. This was not the first take of this video. I'm like, yeah, let's see, Goremongers. Just you can buy those right now, right? You know, boom, 404 not found. I'm like, what? Is it not Blood and Zeal? But okay, maybe it's the wrong one. Bam, over here. Nope, still nothing. I don't know why. I don't know how, but I found it eventually. Available while stocks last. Why stocks last? Get your goremongers, get your sanctifiers. I think, include them in list. Tell me how they go for you. So I'm high on goremonger inclusion in World Eaters at the moment, and think that they have a chance. Now go into the next one of hey, this is my stuff. I wanted to look at stuff that kind of still is into effect. For the most part, we're like a week or two out, but this is from Stat Check. Go check out Stat Check. This is my stuff. This is theirs. So wanted to look at this and see if there's anything that I can draw being a surprise. World Eaters were already doing fine, fine enough. And I think with their inclusion of goremongers, that number might go higher. I also am back on to believing GSC for some odd reason. I don't know what in me is saying it. Maybe it's because of the host of Ascension stuff. Um, but I don't know. Something is telling me that GSC actually is pretty decent right now. But to that point, uh, I don't think I saw many GSC player names that I've seen before at this one, so I don't know how that'll go. Um, Custodes, I think I already hinted at being okay. Death Guard, I don't think so. Sorry, Death Guard is completely random to this conversation, but I just looked at it. I was just like, I usually say Death Guard might have a chance doing something some way, but oh no, I don't know. We have seen oddly Blood Angels come up a couple of times now, and to that point, we should talk about some of the previous tournaments that just went on. Now that we have information, so Sheffield happened, and Adepticon happened. And I wanted to come to this one because I mentioned in my Sheffield like look over that Vic is over here on Fireside Podcast, but I didn't include that tab because I was talking about a lot of things, and there's a portion where I'm like, "Ha, told y'all." So didn't want to muddy that. But while we're here, Vic VJ, go listen to Fireside Podcast since we're doing the unpaid plug video here. Yeah. So over here at Sheffield in the UK, don't get mad at me, anybody. It says UK. Okay. Uh, we saw Astra Militarum take it, and then Eldar, Necrons, Grey Knights, Tau, Blood Angels, Legion of Votann, Custodes. I This is another one. Well, Votann is another one that confuses me because I don't think it's time for them still. They have the change, so effectively nothing happened to Oathband, but I think people are still too unwilling to try Hearthband. but it could be really funny right now to do Hearthband, especially since the constant is Eldar. Also looking over here, maybe this is why I'm still high on GSC. Maybe that was what my brain was trying to tell me. And Blood Angels. So Blood Angels being there, GSC. I don't really have any screwball picks because Orcs just got hit, and that was a lot of why things were happening. People were building with more DACA in mind, and that's where a lot of my things came from. Where it's like, well, you got more DACA and you got Eldari, and this is a lot of a shooting situation. Can you shoot, or can you do something if you get shot? So with that out the way, I don't know if any of my previous predictions hold true because there is still time to change the list because I think everybody else is thinking, well, how many more DACA players will actually be here now that this might be the last hurrah? So does that mean everybody goes, yeah, I gotta take it now because this is the last chance? Or does nobody take it because they go, it'll be gone next week anyway. I need to start practicing into some real things. So that's why things are like up in the air. But looking at the consistency, we have Blood Angels and GSC. Not consistent in them, but I don't know. There's World Eaters, and I really think Chaos Demons has something. But at the same time, we only really see Chaos Demons do like major topping things when it's something as extreme as Legion of Excess because I don't know. I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't have a guess to the answer to that. I don't really know shit, but uh, I think Chaos Demons never really gets over that hurdle because, in a way, my mind treats Chaos Demon players like Orc players, and that sounds mean, but I'll explain. It is you could build a list that is highly optimized. Oh yeah, I took 3 squads of Demonettes because they have fights first. That'll be my screen. I'll take a Bloodthirster and Shadow Legion because it has advance and charge. Um, a Great Unglean one with a 2 units of Beast of Nurgles to do things. Like you could do all these things to optimize the hell out of list, but into that same sentiment when it comes to orcs and um, Chaos Demon players, I see that it's more of a I'm running this list because this is what I want to do, right? Like I think that's where it is. Where looking from the outside, I don't know why some of them are being why some units are being taken, but then you get a screwball situation where Scintillating Legion goes X and one at a super major with friggin' triple soul grinder, and you're just like, well, who saw the soul grinder really coming? So, I don't know. I think that's interesting, but if I had to just make some wild ones, I'm putting Goremonger list, blood, world eaters. I'm putting blood angels up there, and GSC. I don't know what's telling me GSC really. Okay, I guess since we usually do like top 8 predictions around here, let's do Chaos Demons too. I don't know. I don't know. I'm usually not this terribly uncertain when making one of the videos by this time, but we'll see. We shall see. So, the battle to end Alzheimer's will be this weekend, and let's just hope that eventually we can end Alzheimer's. So, yeah. If you like the video, like it. Got a comment from a comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.